Hello everyone, Spicy Gecko here. Now before I begin today's video, I'd like to thank JRE47 on the Sylph Arena subreddit. He's made a very informative article on this topic, and I've used some information from it. And I just want to thank him for all the help he's given me with this. So, let's start by going over the base moves that you will be using for Bidoof Cup. So, you're going to be wanting Tackle most of the time. Why that is, we'll be going over in a bit. And right now, what you need to know is that Crunch and Hyper Fang are going to be your two best moves, as Crunch is going to be your cheapest option, possibly. Again, we'll go over that later. And Hyper Fang is stronger, 5 more energy, deals more damage than Crunch, but more than likely you're going to be ending up using Crunch most of the time. Hyper Fang does have a higher damage per energy, I believe, so there might be cases where if you're closing a match you will want to use that, but I think that Crunch is the way to go here. Return is an interesting option. Return does a lot more damage in Hyper Fang. You see it's doing 104 here, that's almost all Bidoof's health, but over the course of an average game, it's likely you won't even reach Return's 70 energy. See, 3 short for Bidoof. Now, the reason Tackle is superior to Takedown, let's give the fair shot here. The reason that Tackle is superior to Takedown is because Tackle's higher damage makes up for its lower energy in a matchup like this, at least in the one shield. Because Tackle just farms down before the Bidoof can reach a second Crunch with Takedown. Now, one thing you might be wondering is, what about Bidoof's other charge moves? Well, most of the time they are pretty useless. I mean, in another meta, moves like Ice Beam, which definitely have great coverage, might be helpful. I would recommend saving them for a future Little Cup resurgence, but right now, Thunderbolt's 55 energy, Ice Beam's 55 energy, Shadow Ball, oh no, not even Shadow Ball, because that is 27 damage, that's double resisted. Only use that if you're a Mad Lad. And Grass Knot, well, Grass Knot isn't even a special move, but it's just worse Hyper Fang. It does exactly the same amount. It does less damage, actually. 4 damage less for the same energy. That's not a move you want to be using. So let's go over the shield scenarios for Takedown and Tackle. So, right off the bat here, Takedown loses to Tackle Bidoof. It's close, very close, but in 3 turns, there's not much that the Takedown Bidoof can do. At least, according to these sims here. And that's really all I got for now, because sims anyway, because nobody is going to do this with me, and I can't blame them. This is a pretty RPS cup. It's not going to be a ton of fun to play, but it's going to be funny, at least funny for the first couple of sets. So, in the one shield, things look pretty bad for Takedown Bidoof over here, and I'm kind of rooting for him because I personally prefer high energy moves to high damage per second moves, but it's going to get a lot worse for him. So we're going to go no shields over here, and would you look at that, things are even worse for Takedown Bidoof. Now it would take 13 turns of energy for him to get the win, because all he can do is throw out 1 Hyper Fang, which doesn't even make up for the Tackle Bidoof's Crunch. Going over to 2 shields here, let's see if things improve. I don't think they will. And it's even worse now, because all that Tackle Bidoof has to do is farm down with his superior damage per second. So overall, it looks like Tackle Bidoof is superior to Takedown Bidoof. But as we'll see in a moment, that will change slightly. Let's take a look at Shadow Bidoof, shall we? Now, I've done a little bit of research here, and I think that Shadow Bidoof is overall a worse version of Bidoof. it does have some merits, which I will explore right now. Actually, it's kind of why I'm doing this. But Shadow Badoof is just generally pretty worse. Now, Tackle Shadow Badoof. Let's go over Tackle Shadow Badoof versus Takedown regular Badoof. We're going to be doing it like this because there's really no point in repeating exactly what we've already done, but with shadows, because, well, there is no point to it. It's just a mirror match. Now, Tackle Badoof versus Takedown Badoof in the shadows like this. It's even worse, of course, for Takedown Badoof, because Tackle Badoof just farms down faster. But in the one shield, let's see here. It looks like, wow, Takedown Badoof has his first victory tonight. He managed to win over Tackle Badoof because his Crunch, well, Hyper Fang I should say, actually does enough damage to knock out the Tackle Badoof now. So this is his first big win, although it is bait dependent, so it's not usually very reliable. If your opponent knows what you're doing, they could definitely put a stop to it. I don't know if you can reach 2 Hyper Fangs. I don't think you can. Let me check that actually. Can he reach 2 Hyper Fangs? Oh wow, he can. So if you feel like being very, very ballsy, with 1 hit point remaining, you can win with Takedown Badoof versus Tackle Shadow Badoof using just Hyper Fang. I wouldn't recommend it though. Seems really risky and probably IV dependent. So let's go to the 0 shield for Takedown normal Badoof versus Tackle Shadow Badoof. Once again, it goes back to Shadow Badoof. Because Tackle versus Takedown is very good in the 0 shield and 2 shield, but kind of shaky in the 1 shield. That's just because that the Hyper Fang from this Badoof over here, Takedown, knocks down to a little bit of red health, but fortunately for my Takedown friend, the Shadow Crunch knocks out the Normie Badoof, and Normie Badoof goes down. So what happens if we switch out their moves? We have a Tackle normal Badoof going up against a Takedown Badoof. That's a pretty big mouthful, wow. Well, Takedown Shadow Doofenshmirtz, can win the 1 shield now. We're gonna check that out. And Shadow Badoof with Takedown now wins the 1 shield. Again, probably just because he's doing more damage. But it does not look very good for him outside that situation, because now he gets completely destroyed. A 13-turn advantage for Normie Badoof with Tackle. Takedown Badoof, wow, he does not look very good in this meta. He needs very lucky baiting to work. 6 turns now for Shadow Doof. Not as bad, but still pretty terrible. So it does look like overall Shadow Badoof is generally worse than regular Badoof. There's not really a whole lot to him, although Takedown Shadow Badoof can now win matchups where regular, normie Takedown Shadow Doof can't win. So I would say if you want to run Takedown Badoof, make sure it's Shadow, because then your charge moves will be strong enough to knock out the regular Badoof, because generally Badoof is a decently bulky Pokemon. If we just compare its stat product to something else, I don't know, Bonsly, doesn't really matter, we can see it actually has a pretty good stat product for a little cup. Fuck it, I'll just find it later. Badoof, there we go. So this would usually be the part where I would tell you to forget everything I just said. This is going to be a new thing that shakes up Bidoof Cup, but I decided that it would be appropriate to save this part for the last section of the video, because we've already been dealing with some pretty hypothetical stuff here with Bidoof Cup even existing, because it's never even been announced, but this takes the cake in hypotheticalness. Hypotheticalness, fuck, how do you say that word? But anyway, the reason this is so absurd is because Superpower Badoof was data mined, but hasn't even been announced yet. So this might never even happen. I don't know. But the point is, this part of the video is a big stretch, but I think it's going to be interesting to mention anyway, because as long as, if Superpower comes to the game for Bidoof, from now on, Tackle is no longer the superior move, Takedown is, because the whole point of this metagame is going to be about spamming Superpower as fast as you can, because the difference between Superpower and Crunch is pretty incredible, and Crunch is already debatably Bidoof's best move. For 45 energy, it's Bidoof's best option, and it does 47 damage, which at this point has been respectable. But Superpower blows that out of the water. It's crazy, because it does 91 damage for less energy. I think that's almost double Crunch. 47, that's a little over half of 90, right? Yeah, it's 45. So Superpower is incredible. I don't think I should have to tell you that, because it is super effective against Bidoof, obviously. So if you have a Superpower Badoof and it goes up against a Tackle Badoof in the 1 shield and no shield, it will win, guaranteed. It doesn't even need to use any other move. You shouldn't use any other move. You should, if anything, build up 2 superpowers and then maybe swap to something else, because after you do that, Bidoof is a liability because it's weak now. But by the same token, you can switch out, because what they're going to do is switch in Bidoof to counter Bidoof. That doesn't make any sense. Or maybe it does, depending on what moves you have. But the point is, that's the play now. Use 2 superpowers, boom, switch out. You're wasting space with that Bidoof from now on. Now, of course, Takedown is now the best because of its crazy energy gain. And, however, I should stress that Takedown, it's great now that you can spam superpowers, but it's not going to win against Tackle and then 2 shield. As a matter of fact, I think you could just not use any moves here on your Bidoof. And the 2 shield, just farm them down with superpower, and you have 80 energy. That's 2 free superpowers. And keep in mind that you have about a little under 2/3 of your health remaining, so that means you could possibly even get to 100 energy and just fire off 2 superpowers at whatever Bidoof comes out next, and then swap out or go for another 20 energy. The point is that if Superpower Badoof comes out, it is going to completely destroy this possibly pointless metagame, but it's something to keep in mind. What I would do for this cup is probably just have a Tackle lead Bidoof to farm down with 2 shields, and then 2 takedown Superpower Badoofs in the back. But if Superpower does not come out, I would just go with 3 Tackle, Crunch, Hyper Fang Badoofs. The other moves are garbage, at least for this meta. So, thank you everyone for watching, and have a great night.